Hello and welcome to the video review of Transformers Armada Overload with Rollout. Now Overload with Rollout is, well, he's interesting because I have no idea what this alternate mode is supposed to be. Overload itself is actually this whole section is Overload. What he's supposed to be, I have no idea. And then you have a little Rollout dude here. And Rollout is supposedly a mini-con. I'm not totally buying it because I think of the whole thing as Overload, which makes more sense, but oh well. So this guy actually has its own little transformation, and you start up by opening that, flipping his head up, come under here and pull his legs down, pop this out to flip out his arms, and there we go. Oh, rotate that down. Here is Rollout in robot mode. And he's a cool little dude. No real hand syndrome, sadly. Now, Rollout is interesting in that he's got several different modes. First of which is his little towing vehicle mode. Then he's got his robot mode. And then he's got a target master mode, which is interesting. But what's really cool is here's his mini-con peg. You could just peg him on somewhere to anything, and he's got like this weird target master thing going for him. And then he's got another mode, which we'll get into right now. Now, the Overload, the main section, actually forms the bulk of the robot mode. He also has a couple of different modes, which we'll get into in a moment, but let's go ahead and start with the robot mode. Now, to start off with, you're going to have to first unpeg these like that. And this whole section flips open. And by flips open, I mean you have to pull those parts down. And then they peg into place all the way over here. Next, you actually unpeg these guys. And that will come, those sliding parts will come in later. You rotate it up, and then you actually have to rotate it to the sides like that, and then rotate it up and around, and then fold down feet. Once you do that, come back here, rotate these around, push them forward, take these sections, collapse them back, and peg them in up here. Rotate the arms all the way around. Man, after all these years, this guy is still nice and clicky. Push him in, and nice little sound there. Flip his head up. And here we have Overload. Now, I kind of wish this guy came with a gun or something, but that would defeat the purpose. Plus, I love that. He does have some nice missiles, though. Just rotate those, the Autobot symbols open, and there he goes. Now, I have to admit, I absolutely adore this robot mode. Yeah, it's big, it's bricky, it's blocky. There's nothing you can really do with it in this mode other than pose it, but it just looks awesome head to toe. I mean, he looks like an alternate version of Ultra Magnus, and this guy was actually repainted and his head was remolded into Sentinel Maximus a year or two after he was initially released, and I dig this guy so much. Now, he does have a couple of combinations with Optimus Prime and Jetfire, which we'll get into right now. Alright, so the first way these guys combine is actually used with Prime's trailer, which is sitting in a box covered by several dozen other figures, and I really didn't feel like getting it back out. You connect Prime to his trailer, and then you actually flip this connector out, and that plugs into the bottom of Prime's trailer, and then that will enable these guys to form kind of a convoy. The other way is Prime can directly connect to Overload. The connector peg is really, really loose, but it can directly connect like that. And then, on top of that, Jetfire comfortably sits on top. Now, sometimes I do like to display it like this because, quite frankly, it does look pretty cool. I really do kind of dig it. My only complaint is that poor little roll bar. He doesn't get any, like, love. Or, I'm sorry, not roll bar, roll out. Doesn't get it. You know what? I'm just going to call him roll bar. He doesn't get any love in this mode. In fact, there's nowhere for him to even go. So he just kind of has to putt along next to him. I guess you could plug him in as a mini-con on one of Jetfire's wings, I guess. I mean, you could just plug him in over here, I guess. But poor little Rollout, he doesn't get to go anywhere. Or I guess you could just kind of schlep him right here. But I actually kind of like this a little better. Simply because... where's the peg? Ah, there we go. Simply because it looks so silly. You got this little bitty guy driving this giant thing. So, this is the first way that they could combine together. They can also combine together in robot mode. So the second combination comes with Prime in that mode. Prime and Jetfire in that mode. First thing we're going to do is actually disconnect Rollbar. What's his name, Rollbar? Whatever. Next thing we're going to do is actually we're going to start the transformation for the Overload unit. We're going to rotate, well, we'll get to that in a second. Then we're pretty much just going to get him into this mode, or we're going to get him to this point. So we're going to do something different though. Instead of forming the robot mode, we're just going to get him to this point, and then there are little tabs on the side here, and that enables you to plug it in and then slide these guys across like this. And then what you do from there is you open that up and you flip out these guns. And then you take this and you rotate it up like that. This then will go on the back of Prime. This thing. So what we're going to do is actually get it so that the legs are pointing up and these are pointing up. Then we'll come around here to where the sound box is and flip this down like that. And that will enable us to come back here and slide it. What's going to happen is this little plastic piece right here will actually slide in and connect between these two gray pieces. So we will do that right now. And it's kind of hard to see, even for me, who's, you know, just sitting here playing with the toy. And you're going to break pieces off. Just put them back on later. And then rotate this sucker down. And you have power, or you've got Armada Prime in Blast Everything to Hell mode. Now, then again, you have a little Target Master dude here, and then Prime's gun will go there. And then the shuttle piece will get put back on in a second. Yeah, so honestly, I love this. I love Overload. I think he's a great figure. He combines nicely with Prime. Just by himself, he is awesome. Unfortunately, he does have if you lose this guy, the figure's ruined. Unfortunately. Nothing I can do about that, but still, if you see this guy, at a yard sale, or even online for maybe 10, 15 bucks, he is definitely worth the pickup.